Watch this news anchor who reacted to Taylor Swift being engaged.
Taylor Swift is engaged.
I am so much more frightened of the women that follow Taylor Swift religiously than I am of anyone who lives in Saudi Arabia, including the bin Laden family, by the way, who I hope to have dinner with, actually. The people that have chosen to make this woman's life their life, her engagement is their engagement. The soundtrack of her life is a soundtrack to their life. Those women need to have burqas on them now.
Taylor Swift is engaged.
Burqa. Burqa.
Taylor Swift is engaged.
Burqa.
Taylor Swift is engaged.
Acid attack.
This, come back to me.
Virtue
She
police.
just posted it.
Get her.
Oh my God. Oh, it's huge. The ring is ginormous.
In the
I'm
house.
so excited.
In the house. You're not allowed out of the house.
Oh my God.
In the house now.
Oh my God.
You're out of the house without your husband. Jail.
On her Instagram.
Jail,
It's
jail.
on her Instagram. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Honor
Oh my God.
killing.
I feel like Paul Revere right now.
Stoner. Stoner honor
This
killing.
is a very
Honor
exciting
killing
moment
in the
for me
town
in my
square.
professional-
And I'm supposed to be scared of Saudi Arabia? I'm supposed to be scared of Saudi Arabia. This is the news. CBS News. If you broke down in tears because Taylor Swift got engaged to that vaccine shill, you need a burqa draped on you now, acid in the face.
Here's something.
I'm here with the Jackson the Hair Hinkle, and guess what? Israeli lawmakers advance West Bank annexation bills despite Trump's past objection. So J.D. Vance is visiting Israel right now, and while he's there, the Israelis passed this annexation bill that says they're going to annex the West Bank, even though Trump has specifically said don't do that. So as J.D. Vance is there, they're kind of humiliating him and saying we're going to do what we want. So this is what J.D. Vance said when he was asked about the vote in the Knesset on annexing the West Bank. Let's listen to what he says.
West Bank, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll do. Yeah.
The West Bank vote yesterday that took place while you were in the country.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was weird. I was sort
That was weird. Oh boy, that was weird. Gosh darn it, I was talking with Usha, and she said that was weird too. It was, oh, that was weird. Do you see how this is my favorite thing he's ever said? Oh, that was weird. You mean that was humiliating and they were showing you who's boss and that they don't give an F about what you say and what you do? In fact, they waited till you were in the country so they could extra humiliate you this way? Yeah, it is weird. That is weird. So let's do it again. Here we go.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll do. Yeah.
The West Bank vote yesterday that took place while you were in the country.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was weird. I was sort of confused by that. Now I actually asked somebody about it, and they told me that it was a symbolic vote, some symbolic vote to recognize or symbolic.
It was symbolic of their control of you. That's what it is. It was symbolic of how they can humiliate you with impunity, and you will never do anything. That's what the symbolism there was. It definitely was symbolic, and it was symbolic of who is the boss. And the boss is Israel over you. That's what it was symbolic of. Let's see what else he says.
Vote to annex the West Bank. I mean, what I would say to that is when I asked about it, somebody told me that it was a political stunt, that it had no practical significance. It was purely symbolic. I mean, look, if it was a political stunt, it was a very stupid political stunt, and I personally take some insult to it. The West Bank.
Oh, so it wasn't just weird. It was, you know what it was. It was an insult to you personally to try to humiliate you and let you know who's boss. So at first he was like, it's just weird. Now it's like, I'm actually insulted by this. It's weird that you'd be insulted by something weird. Okay, here we go.
Is not going to be annexed by Israel. The policy of the Trump administration is that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel. That will continue to be our policy. And if people want to take symbolic votes, they can do that. But we certainly weren't happy about it. Thank you.
Now, let me ask you, Jackson, there's more to this segment, but I want to just quickly ask you, why do you think Trump has decided that the West Bank is his red line? Or why would that be? Why wouldn't he do, if he was willing to stand up to Netanyahu and Israel, and why wouldn't he stop the genocide months ago? Why would he decide just the West Bank is his red line?
There's no rhyme or reason to it. If I had to guess, though, I think it's probably an ego thing. Trump has to have one thing that he can hold over everyone, And for Netanyahu, this is it. This is Trump's way of showing he's top dog. And I'll add one more thing. The whole reason why JD Vance is here is because Israel killed over 100 Palestinians in the first 10 days of the ceasefire. They did airstrikes on Rafah. And instead of 6,600 aid trucks into Gaza, they only allowed in 983 in the first 11 days of the ceasefire. He's there to try and get Israel to adhere to the ceasefire and recommit to it. And this is how they treat him when he arrives.
Yeah. So again, they're not allowing. So they're supposed to let 6,000 trucks. They're letting in less than 1,000. So they're already and they've already killed 100. So again, Israel breaks the ceasefire in many different ways, and they don't live up to their agreements. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the recent Israel Knesset vote to annex parts of the occupied West Bank was an attempt by certain elements to embarrass Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu during vice president. Really? Let's hear what he says.
You and the president, vice president voiced opposition to annexation. Do you have the word from the Israelis that they're not going to go ahead with this in the West Bank?
This was a vote that they took in the Knesset. From what it was explained to me, it was elements that tried to use it to embarrass Netanyahu while the vice president was here. Suffice it to say, we don't think it's going to happen. And more importantly, it's not from a legislative standpoint structured in a way that could happen, but it would also threaten this whole process. I mean, we understand that, right? I mean, everyone has to understand if something like that were to happen right now, if that were to happen, a lot of the countries that are involved in working on this probably aren't going to want to be involved in this anymore. It's a threat to the peace process, and everybody knows it. But I'm not getting to the middle of Israeli politics. We're focused on peace and security.
So he's saying that that was meant to embarrass Netanyahu, not J.D. Vance. I think that's quite hilarious. But here is a French reporter asked Trump, yesterday there was a vote in the Knesset on annexing the West Bank. Do you see it as a challenge to your peace efforts? It seems to me Trump doesn't really even know what they're talking about. Let's listen.
There was a vote at the Knesset on annexing the West Bank. Do you see it as a challenge to your peace efforts?
Could you say that louder, please?
Yes. Yesterday there was a vote at the Knesset in Israel on annexing the West Bank. Do you see it as a challenge to your peace efforts?
Will you answer that, please? Because I cannot understand the words you're saying. Where are you from? Where are you from?
She's from France, and everybody can understand what she's saying. What are you talking about? I don't even know what she's. This person speak English. He's talking to a foreign reporter who speaks pretty good English, and I could have. But anyway, speak louder. Here we go.
You're from France, beautiful accent, but we can't understand what you're saying.
So it seems like everybody else in the room understands what she's saying. Everybody else is just re-yelling her question.
The West Bank is. Don't worry about the West Bank. Israel's not going to do anything with the West Bank. Okay? Don't worry about it. Is that your question? They're not going to do anything with the West Bank. Don't worry about it. Israel's doing very well. They're not going to do anything with it.
Okay, so that's from the same guy who said he's going to end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. Same guy who's telling you that the reason why he's bombing Venezuela is because of drug running. So here's Netanyahu's response. You ready for this?
הנשיא טראמפ אמר מוקדם יותר בראיון לטיים, ישראל לא תספח את הגדה המערבית, כי אני נתתי את מילתי למדינות ערב. הוא אמר לי אם נעשה את זה, נאבד את התמיכה האמריקאית. האם האמריקאים מכתיבים...
So she's asking him, hey, Trump said there's going to be no annexing of the West Bank by Israel because that would threaten the deal and that would screw up everything with the rest of the Gulf states. And she says, are the Americans now dictating policy to Israel? Because it's usually the other way. Israel dictates policy to the United States. And so here's what he says. He says, says, I deeply appreciate Donald Trump's support in his wartime actions. My decision to enter Gaza City is an effort to rally the Arab world to rescue and free our hostages through our military pressure and his diplomatic pressure. And yes, we brought back 20 living hostages, something no one thought would happen. And now his position we are taking, including Marco Rubio said earlier with the Vice President Vance that advanced his goals, dismantling Hamas and its weapons, which is straightforward objectives for us. So what that matters, I think there is something significant in the cooperation between partners, which I believe is a tremendous blessing for the state of Israel. We are an independent nation. So he says, hey, we're an independent nation. We're going to do what we want. So let me just in, Netanyahu overrides Trump and says the U.S. can't stop Israel annexing the West Bank. It doesn't matter. We're an independent nation. So what do you... Let me just one this. Today, Finance Minister Smotrich participated in a conference of the Israeli right-wing newspaper Makor Rishon, where he referred to yesterday's vote in the Knesset calling for the application of Israel's sovereignty over the occupied West Bank, which drew condemnation from U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance. Smotrich said there would be the Israeli annexation, despite the opposition of U.S. President Donald Trump. So he says, let me start again. As far as it is up to me, he says, by the end of this term, we will have sovereignty. Hang on. We will have sovereignty will be applied in Judea. Wow, he speaks fast. In Judea, sovereignty will be applied in Judea and Samaria, because this is the only way to kill the existential danger called the Palestinian state. So there will never be a two-state solution. That's what they're saying, because a Palestinian state is an existential danger to perpetuate the belonging of these parts of the homeland to the state of Israel, and mainly to base the alliances and peace agreements on truth and not on lies. I say to them, Trump and Rubio, with a lot of respect, appreciation, and a lot of gratitude for their support, for the backing, for the wonderful things that they have done and are doing and will continue to do. American recognition is not a condition for the application of sovereignty. So what he's saying is, we don't need the United States to do this. We're going to do it. And by the way, how many years did it take us from the Golan Heights law to Trump's recognition in the previous term? Friends know how to manage disputes. We will apply sovereignty. It is Israel's existential security. It is interest. Despite what the Americans say, he's asked? Yes. Once again, among friends, yesterday I heard the vice president say, oh man, this goes fast, a very correct statement. We are partners. We are not a protectorate of the United States. Oh my God, are they? We have common interests, common values, a common path, many things to do together. We are not subject to the directives of the Americans, and I'm not frightened that will apply sovereignty in Judea and Samaria, and the Americans won't recognize it. I say again, American recognition is not a condition for the application of sovereignty. It's good if it happens. It's good if that happens right away, and if it happens in a few years. Again, it's probably going to take less time than the annexation of the Golan Heights to the American, of the Israeli annexation of the Golan Heights. And the same thing will happen in Judea and Samaria. Not on that condition. Then they'll have to get used to it? You say that? They'll have to get used to it? I'm not saying this cynically. So he's saying, we're going to do what we want to do, and the Americans, it doesn't matter what they say, because we're friends. Doesn't matter. We're friends, but we're going to do whatever we want. And we're not a vassal state of the United States. We're not a protectorate. They goddamn well are. And that's the only leverage Trump has, is he can pull the plug on the Israeli project right now if he wants. So that'd be great to see. It's not going to happen. And I think this guy's right. What do you say, Jackson?
Well, if they're claiming they're an independent nation, Netanyahu's saying it doesn't matter what Trump says, we're an independent nation, then they should give us back the $30 billion that we've sent them, probably much more than that, since October 7th, 2023. They should bring back all of the Israeli spies that are in the United States acting as diplomats who are spying on our politicians. They should bring them back to Israel. And the list goes on. Not expect any military support from us, not expect joint strikes on Israeli targets. And there's also one bit of this story. Did you see the tweet that Netanyahu put out yesterday?
No.
He put out a tweet. We went through like all the cycles of Zionist cope and their Hasbara AI talking points, their Ben Shapiro talking points. Initially, Vance said that this was weird and he was confused. Then he said that it was a stunt. If it was a stunt, then, I mean, or if it was symbolic, why? That's still not a good thing. They're symbolically flipping you off in that case, which is also not good. And then he said it was a stunt. And Netanyahu came out and said this was a stunt by the opposition in Israel. He put out a tweet saying as much. He said that the bill was sponsored by opposition. But the person who introduced it was a member of his own government. Smotrich and Gvir both supported it. The majority of people who voted for it in the Knesset were part of Netanyahu's coalition. So he was trying to make it seem like this was an opposition stunt, but it was actually crafted by his party, supported by his government. And he actually got community noted on the post because one of his own party members introduced the bill. It was crazy.
Oh, I wish I would have known about that. I would have included it in this in my slides. Well, here is Representative Anna Paulina Luna, and she says to Netanyahu via tweet, "We are an independent nation. If you ask for our help, expect to be held responsible for upholding a very well-negotiated peace deal. President Trump has made it clear, if you want American support, you must respect the terms and conditions that come with it." So we'll see. What do you see happening? I see Israel taking over the West Bank and Trump doing nothing about it. What do you say?
I think that's probably a pretty fair characterization of what's going to happen. I will say, though, this is interesting from Rep. Anna Paulina Luna, because 1 year ago, a year and a few months ago, she was on the floor of the Congress giving standing ovations to Benjamin Netanyahu and took a photo with him and posted it on Twitter, celebrating his lecture to the United States Congress. And now she's out here basically doing what Trump is doing, but I think with more ferocity. She's threatening Israel that they need to act like a partner rather than a someone controlling a puppet. And she also just had Kirill Dmitriev, who is the chair of the Russian Sovereign Wealth Fund in the United States for negotiations about Russia. So I like what she's saying. I think she's on the right track.
I agree. If you want to hear my jokes about this situation, come see me in Sydney, Australia, Brisbane, and Melbourne. Shows just added. We'll see you in Burbank at Flappers the day after Thanksgiving. Everybody's off on that day, so come to a show. And we'll see you in Pottstown December 6th. Waikiki, January 11th. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets. Jackson, can you stay for one more segment? I'm going to talk about Jared Kushner talking about his plans for Gaza.
Let's do it.
Okay, over to Steph. We'll be right back.
Okay, here we go. Majority of wives have thought, often their other. What? Let me ask him. Hey, Jimmy. Okay. Oh, you know what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen? Let me make sure. We're going to get ready to go to Rumble. I think that's a good idea. Thank you for reminding me on that one. I'm a little rusty today. Well, is that it? All right, stand by. Here we go. I'm going to put the link for everybody. In message. There we go. Let me do one more thing before my crew shoots over to the next thing. I got to update the super chats. Where'd it go? That's kind of crazy. Stand by, everybody. Then I want to ask. Come on, here we go. Let me refresh that. And then we're going to be good to go, ladies and gentlemen. We're good to go. We'll see you at Rumble.